Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of our new show here on Aiyah, and it is called
Gushers!
Gushers!
Yeah!
Here on Gushers, we want to talk a little bit about the games that we like, games that we love, break it down.
Gush over them, about them, in them.
On them. Maybe. And like I said, this is Joey, and my name is Will, and we're going to get right into it by talking about this game that we have right here. Probably can't see it because it's not focused, I guess, but it's Chrono Trigger for the Super Nintendo. It was released by Squaresoft, now Square Enix. Have you played this, Joey?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
5 minutes? About?
5 minutes?
Maybe 10.
5 minutes ago or 5 minutes?
No, 5 minutes total.
Oh, well, this might make it a little bit more difficult, but that's what that's why we're here. This is my favorite game of all time, and I'm going to show you a couple of things about why I like it.
Okay.
And so we're going to just turn this on and pick up the controller and
play with our fake TV.
Yeah,
let's go.
Let's get right into it. If there was one genre that made the biggest impression on me during the 16-bit era, it definitely had to be the RPG. Particularly the Japanese RPGs designed by Square in the mid-90s for the Super Nintendo. These games were huge, taking you on lengthy quests across vast worlds, fighting monsters and villains, and saving whole civilizations from certain destruction. I honestly thought it couldn't get any better than Final Fantasy VI, or Super Mario RPG, until I came upon Chrono Trigger. Even before jumping into the game itself, it's worth noting the game's interesting backstory. These days when developers from different companies work together, you tend to see more of a mix of IPs rather than ideas, the products of which include examples like Kingdom Hearts, Marvel vs. Capcom, Street Fighter Cross Tekken, or even Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. Hey, who thought up that idea? In the mid-90s, however, head Final Fantasy developer Hironobu Sakaguchi teamed up with Yuji Horii, the creator of Enix's Dragon Quest series, despite the two series being in direct competition with each other. Together they joined with Akira Toriyama, who was famous for his Dragon Ball series, and a bunch of other notable developers that went on to create games like Parasite Eve, Saga Frontier, and the later Final Fantasy games including 7, 8, and 10. Together, this group known as the Dream Team came up with an entirely new game, originally slated to be part of the Seiken Densetsu series, better known in America as the Mana series. The story of Chrono Trigger focuses around the idea of time travel and changing the future by altering the past. Few games manage to nail this theme in the same way that Chrono Trigger does. Even though the initial goal is similar to other RPGs in that you, as the protagonist Chrono and friends, are trying to save the world from total destruction, the game manages to drag you through a number of different time periods and major world events in order to get there. And this may not sound like much until you stop to realize that many of the events in the story actually have a huge impact on a global scale, particularly with respects to human civilization and society. Chrono himself is responsible for some of the more notable events in history. That wizard that was defeated 1,000 years ago? You fight him and defeat him. The race of lizard men descended from the dinosaurs who were trying to wipe out the emerging humans in the prehistoric era? You wiped them out first, allowing humanity to survive through to the Ice Age. Wonder why people in the past can use magic while no one in the present can? Well, yeah, that's kind of your fault too.
So I guess it's kind of like the episode of The Simpsons when Homer sneezes on a T-Rex and starts raining donuts in the future?
Yeah, sort of. The fact that so much of the world's timeline is affected by Chrono and company adds an extra layer of brevity to the story, the way few RPGs can, providing that much more depth and scope to a game that already has quite a bit of both. So the characters are the lifeblood of any good RPG, and Chrono Trigger's cast is a colorful, quirky kind of bunch that fits the established mold of Japanese RPG character design, but at the same time it manages to be unique and memorable. The main party is comprised of characters from different time periods in the game, and each period also has its own supporting cast, including major villains and bosses that kind of reflect the design. And because Chrono, the game's lead character, falls under the column of silent protagonist, he's completely reliant on the rest of the party to actually propel the story forward, and it gives each character a stronger overall voice and presence in the game. Depending on which two party members that Chrono brings with them, their reactions to the situations will change to suit the scenario. And there's dozens of moments in the game where actually having certain characters leads to longer, more interesting exchanges. And this is also reflected in the battle system, in the sense that the game allows for a wide variety of party setups. And essentially every battle is or should be winnable with whatever combination the player wants to bring along. At no point in the game are you completely restricted in who you want to bring with you. So if RPGs are 50% story and character development, the other 50% has to be all the time you spend fighting hundreds and hundreds of battles to earn experience, level up your characters, improve their stats, and unlock new skills. There's nothing really different about Chrono Trigger in the sense, but the way the battles are handled in this game is much more fluid and more refined. Like in the Final Fantasy series, battles are fought in real time using the active time battle system, which could actually be modified to be faster or slower. Couple this with short transitions between running around the field and actually fighting enemies, and most battles can actually take mere seconds to complete. Very rarely will you ever spend more than a minute or two against a normal, everyday enemy that isn't a boss character. And this also leads into the best aspect of Chrono Trigger's battle system, which is text. Special attacks and magic skills are a staple of RPGs, there's no arguing that. And Chrono Trigger is again no different in that each of your characters earns tech points to acquire new, more powerful skills over the course of the game. What this game does different, though, is allow your characters to combine their powers to form double and even triple techs. The system drastically opens up your options as a player when it comes to what party you want to keep through the game. You might love a particular character whose single techs are actually pretty crappy, but you combine them with Chrono and another party member, and they might have a wildly useful set of double techs or even a really good triple tech that can demolish bosses. It sets the game up in a way that any and every combination of characters is actually able to go into a challenging battle and be able to win. To me, really, that's just great design. One of Chrono Trigger's greatest strengths as an RPG is actually its replayability. Unlike some games like Persona 3 or Pokemon, which can take you up to like 80 to 100 hours to complete a single file, Chrono Trigger can actually be finished in probably 20 to 30, even with the optional side quests. Part of the fun of replaying the game is bringing along different combinations of party members to see the additional dialogue you might have missed, but Squaresoft actually went one step further to reward returning players in the creation of a New Game Plus mode. So in New Game Plus mode, you start the story over from the beginning, but you get to carry over a previous save file and have access to your character's levels, equipment, items, and money. Since none of the enemies and bosses are scaled up in difficulty, this does make the game extremely easy, allowing you to breeze through most battles in seconds. However, the biggest challenge lies in a special gate in the game's first area that will actually transport you straight to the final battle with Lavos. You can access the gate at any point in the main story, and depending on when you defeat Lavos, you get one of 13 new endings, including one where you can actually read the developer's personal comments about the game. Me personally, I must have blazed through Chrono Trigger dozens of times by now. It's one of the few RPGs I can't help but replay every now and then, and each time it never fails to amaze me. There are a couple of other things that I could talk about, the music is really amazing, a really great soundtrack. For a late-stage Super Nintendo game, the graphics are incredibly detailed and really great and very colorful. But yeah, that's about all the time we got for this first episode of Gushers, so thank you everybody for watching. If you like what you see, you could comment, favorite, subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Thumbs up or something. No thumbs down, please. You could do that too, but try to avoid that.
Just don't curse them.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.